You just saw three activities where you saw that when a pencil is dipped in water, it appears to be bent at the interface, and the part which is inside water appears to be swollen. In the second activity, you saw that when a lemon is dipped in water, it appears to be swollen. And the third activity, you saw that when we look at an arrow through a lens, it appears to be bigger in size. Now we are going to learn about the physics behind what we just saw. Okay? And the phenomena which is responsible for all the three observations you just made is refraction. So we are going to talk about refraction today. Before I start talking about refraction, I just want you to remind you that you all remember, you've studied in your lower classes about rectilinear propagation of light, and you know that light always travels in a straight line. But refraction means bending of light. And now actually when light travels from one transparent medium like air to another transparent medium like glass or water, it bends. And this phenomena of bending of light as the light rays as they pass obliquely from one transparent medium into another is called refraction. Why I use the word obliquely here, I'll make it clear during this video, right? So light travels in a straight line, but as it enters from one medium to another, it bends, and after bending it continues traveling in the straight line in that medium, right? Now why does this happen? Why light rays have to bend as they go from one medium to another? Now before discussing that, there are so many examples from daily life. Few you just saw. There will be so many other examples in daily life which we see because of refraction. You just saw that a pencil, when it is dipped in a glass of water, appears to be bent, as you can see right now. You can do these activities, are very simple, yourself at home and witness it. Pencil, you take a pencil, put it in water, the portion which is in water appears to be bigger in size. This is happening because of refraction, and why this is happening we'll be learning today. Take a glass of water, put a lemon inside, and when you put a lemon inside, it appears to be swollen. Similarly, if you see rasgullas dipped in sugar syrup, they appear to be swollen. You see an arrow through a lens, it appears to be bigger in size. You can see this arrow through a glass of water also. If you don't have a lens at home, take a glass of water, put a glass of water in front of arrow and see through the glass of water. Look at the arrow through the glass of water. You will see the size changes. Now this is all because of refraction of light. If you have been to a swimming pool, if you stand outside swimming pool, a swimming pool appears shallower to us from outside. We can't guess the actual depth of the swimming pool by standing outside. We see the apparent depth which is less than the actual depth. This is another example of refraction. Twinkling of stars that we daily see in the night sky. We see the stars twinkle. We all know that the stars twinkle is actually because of the refraction of light. So during the course of the chapter, during the process now, we'll be learning about the reasons why all these things happen and how we can explain them on the basis of refraction. So now let's talk about the next thing, big question, that why do light rays bend? We've seen that they bend, but why do light rays bend? So why do light rays bend? Now, we all know, by now you all know that speed of light, which is represented by c in vacuum, is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. You know this. Or we also in air also we take the speed of light to be almost the same, although it's slightly less than this, but we can take it at the same. Now the speed of light actually, as it goes from one medium, from air or vacuum to some other medium like glass or water, it changes. Some other oil like maybe into diamond is also transparent medium. So if a light ray travels from one transparent medium to another, its speed changes, and which is the cause of refraction of light, which is the cause of bending of light. For example, if I tell you speed of light in glass is, normal glass, it's almost equal to 2 into 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. So it is less than that in air. Actually, speed of light in vacuum or air is the maximum. In all other media, the speed of light is less than that in vacuum. So due to this change in speed of light as it enters from one transparent medium into another, bending of light occurs. So the reason is why, the question is why, and the reason is change in speed of light. So the answer to this question, why do light rays bend, is the change in speed of light as it enters from one transparent medium to another. Now, I think for your level, this much explanation is enough. The detailed explanation you will learn in your higher classes. It can be explained in details, but for your level, this much is enough, that because of the change in speed of light, bending occurs. Okay. Now the next question arises is, how do light rays bend? How do they bend? What is the pattern of bending of light rays? Now, okay, let's say that this is a line dividing two media, a rarer and a denser medium. Let me take a rarer medium, the example let me take as air, and a denser medium let me take as glass. Now, when I am referring to a rarer and a denser medium here, I am not referring to mass density. I am referring to optical density of the medium. Mass density you all have studied in your class 9. You know what mass density is. Mass density is calculated by mass density is calculated by mass upon volume. You know, V is m by V, you all know that. And it tells us how light or heavy an object is. Right? You all know that all objects which are less dense than water float on it. Denser objects, objects which are denser than water sink in it. So you all know this. But when I am referring to rarer and denser, I am referring to the optically rarer or optically denser medium. And what do you mean by that? Now, optics is the study of light actually. So optical density, when I say a rarer medium, means a medium where the speed of light is greater, and a denser medium is one where the speed of light is less. Fine. So optical density is decided by the speed of light in the medium. A medium having higher speed of light will be optically rarer than a medium having lesser speed of light. Fine. So when a ray of light, how a ray of light bends when it goes from rarer to denser medium, let's see that. So this is from rarer to denser. When it is entering, how does it bend? Let me say that this is a ray of light incident on a point, on a line dividing the two media. This point is called point of incidence, and this is called incident ray. Now, how will this ray go into the second medium? That we have to see. Now, for that I am drawing a normal here. This is a normal to the line dividing the two media. This is a normal, okay? And n dash is the normal, let's say. Now, this ray of light will not go straight. This is not how will it go. It will not go straight. Now, how will it bend? Now, as a ray of light goes from a rarer medium like air to a denser medium like glass, it slows down. The speed is less in glass as compared to its speed in air. So what happens is, because light has to travel this distance in the denser medium in equal time as it took here in the rarer medium, what it will do is it bends towards the normal, taking a shorter path. So it will not go straight, it bends like this towards the normal. I hope you've understood why it bends towards the normal, because it is traveling with a lesser speed in glass as compared to air. So with that less speed, it tries to take a short path and it bends towards the normal. So how does it bend? It bends, ray of light bends towards the normal from rarer to denser medium. Okay? So this is one point we know. Now, this angle between incident ray and normal is called angle of incidence, and this angle between refracted ray and normal is called angle of refraction. And as we can see from the diagram, angle of refraction is less than angle of incidence. Because the ray is bending towards the normal, angle of refraction is less than angle of incidence. So this is how it bends as a ray of light goes from rarer to a denser medium. Let's see what happens when it goes from a denser medium to a rarer medium. Denser like glass, rarer like air. And why we have said glass denser? Because speed of light in glass is less than the speed of light in air. So we call glass denser and air as a rarer medium. Again, I'm drawing an incident ray like this. This is the point of incidence. I draw a normal at the point of incidence, n dash. This is your incident ray. Now, the ray will not obviously go straight. It will not go like this. Where will it bend now? As it is entering from denser to rarer medium, its speed increases. Now, as its speed increases, it has to travel the distance in the same time. So, it takes a longer path and it bends away from the normal. So here it bends away from the normal. So when it is going from denser to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. And if I say this is angle I between incident ray and normal, this is angle R between refracted ray and normal. I'm not labeled refracted ray here, so this is a refracted ray. So angle R is the angle between refracted ray and normal, and we can see here angle R will be greater than angle I in this case. Angle of refraction is greater than angle of incidence when a ray of light goes from denser to rarer. So this is how a ray of light bends as it goes from rarer to denser towards the normal, denser to rarer away from the normal. So a light ray doesn't go straight, it bends. We've just seen. And as you can see, as it enters the other medium, then it travels straight. After bending, it travels in a straight line. Okay. Now, let's see how a ray of light passes from one medium to another if it is moving along the normal to the line dividing the two medium. So let's take one more case and let's see here. Now this is your line dividing two media. Let's say this is a rarer and this is a denser medium. And if your incident ray is along the normal, obviously if it is along the normal, there is no other path that it can follow and it goes straight without refraction. So no refraction occurs when it is going along the normal, and in such a scenario angle I is 0 because an incident ray is along the normal. So angle I, which is the angle between incident ray and normal, will be 0. Angle R, which is the angle between the refracted ray and normal, will also be 0 in this case, and no refraction occurs in such a case. So that is why in the beginning when we wrote the definition of refraction, I wrote that bending of light rays as they pass from one transparent medium to another obliquely, because if they pass along the normal, there is no bending. So this is how do light rays bend. As they go from rarer to denser, they bend towards the normal. As they go from denser to rarer, they bend away from the normal. Now let us see through a diagram. Let us try to understand why a coin, when it is placed in a tumbler filled with water, appears to be raised. This is another example of refraction, that if you place a coin at the bottom of a tumbler and you fill that tumbler with water and you look from it from sideways, the coin appears to be slightly higher than its actual position. You can do this activity, a very simple activity of refraction again. You can take a tumbler which is opaque and put a coin at the bottom of the tumbler. Tell someone to hold the tumbler for you. Keep stepping back till the tumbler becomes invisible. Tell the person to pour water in the tumbler. As he pours water, the coin starts becoming visible. It reappears. This shows that yes, if you place a coin in a tumbler filled with water, the coin appears to be slightly higher. Once you understand this diagram, you can show the other examples that we discussed also through the ray diagram. That means a pencil appears to be bent, or other such examples can also be shown through the diagram. So I'm showing the diagram that a coin appears raised in a tumbler filled with water. Now, how can we show in a diagram? So, I'm taking a tumbler here, I'm drawing a tumbler here, and we say that the tumbler is filled with water. So, we have water in this tumbler. There is a coin at the bottom of the tumbler. Let's say this is a coin, and I'm taking a point A here. Now, this is a tumbler which is filled with water. Okay, this is filled with water. We are assuming. Let me label this point as A. Okay, fine. I am drawing two rays passing from this point A to the observer. Now, as let me draw two incident rays. This is the first one and this is the second one. Now, as they reach this water, now air, this is air outside. As the rays reach this water-air interface, obviously the rays will bend. And how will they bend? A ray will bend going from water to air. How will it bend? It bends away from the normal. So as it bends, so I'll draw normal here, I draw normal here. So the rays bend away from the normal and they appear to come from a point A dash. So your refracted ray will be, you can draw it like this. The refracted rays appear to come from a point A dash instead of point A, because to an observer who's standing here, let me say that there is an observer standing here, the rays appear to be coming from a straight line. To us, the rays, always light rays, appear to be coming from a straight line. We can't perceive light rays bending. So, to an observer who's standing here, the light rays, instead of point A, they appear to be coming from point A dash, and the person feels that the coin is placed here. So, I've drawn just one point. I've shown similarly all rest of the points of the coin appear to be slightly raised. So, this is how through a diagram we can show that why we see a coin slightly raised when placed in a glass of water. Now, so we've learned what is refraction, what causes refraction, and how do light rays bend as they go from one medium to another. Now, whenever light goes from one medium to another, like air to glass or air to water, it bends, but not to the same extent actually. It's not necessary the amount of bending that occurs from water to air is same as the amount of bending occurring from glass to air. So how much light rays bend depends on the medium from which it is traveling to the second medium to which it is entering. So that we learn in the next class. We'll learn more about refraction. Hope you have understood what we've done today. And that's all for the day. Thank you.